What if I told you that the independence of an entire continent was sabotaged by the very people who claim to be granting it freedom? It is a chilling reality that, for decades, the cost of true African sovereignty wasn't just political isolation. It was a death sentence. We are looking at a history written in blood, where the moment a leader refused to bow to Western interests, they were systematically erased from the map. This isn't just theory. According to the 1976 Church Committee report by the United States Senate, the highest levels of the American government were involved in plots to neutralize African revolutionaries. Perhaps the most harrowing example is Patrice Lumumba, the first democratically elected prime minister of the Congo. In 1960, Lumumba committed the ultimate sin. He declared that the Congo's vast mineral wealth belonged to the Congolese people, not to Belgian mining corporations. The response was swift and brutal. Declassified CIA cables from August 1960 reveal that Director Alan Dulles described Lumumba's removal as an urgent and prime objective. By January 17, 1961, Lumumba was flown to the secessionist region of Katanga, tortured, and executed by a firing squad under Belgian supervision. To ensure he never became a martyr, a Belgian police officer later confessed to dissolving his body in sulfuric acid. As of 2026, the Belgian courts are still grappling with this legacy, with landmark trials finally addressing the individual responsibilities of those involved in this state-sponsored murder. Just 2 years later, on January 13, 1963, the pattern repeated in Togo. Sylvanus Olympio, a brilliant economist and Togo's first president, sought to break the CFA franc colonial shackle by establishing an independent national currency. He was shot down just 3 feet from the gate of the American embassy in Lomé. While the coup was led by disgruntled soldiers, historical archives from the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs suggest a deep-seated fear in Paris that Olympio's exit from the French economic sphere would trigger a domino effect across West Africa. But perhaps no death reshaped the continent's destiny more than that of Thomas Sankara in 1987. Often called Africa's Che Guevara, Sankara transformed Burkina Faso from a starving colony into a food self-sufficient nation in just 4 years. He planted 10 million trees, vaccinated 2.5 million children, and famously stood before the Organization of African Unity to declare that Africa should not pay its odious colonial debts. "He who feeds you controls you," Sankara warned. On October 15, 1987, he was gunned down in a coup led by his closest associate, Blaise Compaoré. While Compaoré ruled for the next 27 years as a Western ally, the 2022 military tribunal in Ouagadougou finally confirmed what many long suspected. The assassination was a coordinated effort to stifle a revolution that threatened the global financial status quo. The list of disappeared voices is long and haunting. In 1977, Marien Ngoabi of Congo-Brazzaville was assassinated after reportedly refusing to annex oil-rich regions for French interests. In 2001, Laurent Désiré Kabila was murdered in his own palace in the DRC amid a war for mineral resources that involved at least 6 nations. And in 2009, João Bernardo Vieira of Guinea-Bissau was hacked to death by soldiers in a cycle of violence fueled by external drug trafficking interests. These assassinations were never random. They were surgical strikes against the idea of a self-reliant Africa. Every time a leader attempted to nationalize resources or break currency dependencies, the machinery of neocolonialism shifted into gear. The result? Decades of instability, civil wars, and a brain drain that robbed the continent of its most visionary architects. As we reflect on this during Black History Month 2026, we must remember Sankara's final prophecy. While revolutionaries as individuals can be murdered, you cannot kill ideas. The vision of a united Africa, free from foreign puppetry, did not die in 1961, 1963, or 1987. It lives on in every person who dares to question the origin of their country's wealth and the fate of its heroes. But I want to leave you with a question that the history books often avoid. If these leaders had been allowed to live, if Lumumba had controlled the Congo's cobalt or Sankara had finished his agrarian revolution, where would Africa stand on the global stage today? Are we still living in the shadow of these 20th century hits? Or is a new generation finally finishing what they started? The truth is often buried, but it never stays hidden. Share this if you believe this history belongs in the classroom, and drop a comment with your thoughts on which leader's vision Africa needs most right now. Follow for more deep dives into the archives of the unheard. Stay woke, stay informed, and remember, power is never given, it is understood.